RMBI gene, here to take you on another level and new horizons.
All right, everybody, this is the second video, so follow the same instructions. Hit that like, leave a comment, make sure you subscribe to the channel and share the video if you feel it's good. You know what I'm saying? Now, all right, how do I start off with this? Somebody said that I don't engage with some women podcasts, or I'm not consistent with some conversations. And I know what they're talking about, because they're right. They're absolutely right. I think I have just reached a point to where I just don't want to be a part of male bashing conversations. I just really don't. I think because it's so hard to sit there and hear people bash men, because whenever there's a conversation on males, all men are grouped together. All men are grouped together. There are some good men and some bad men, and y'all heard me say this. There are some bad women just as well as there are some good women. But the thing about it is, I don't like conversations that bashes a gender without having solutions, or without, you know what I'm saying, giving some form of encouragement. And a lot of these conversations now are just male bashing conversations. And I really just don't feel like sitting there hearing it. You know, I just really don't. I mean, it just bothers me. It just seems like people can't understand that there are good men, there are good women, you know, and people just don't know how to use the word some. And it's like every time somebody has a relationship, or they start talking about relationships, they start talking about careers, they get into this whole, well, women have to deal with it. You know what? Men and women both have to deal with struggles. They both have to deal with challenges. They both have to deal with stereotypes. Now, I can't speak for other cultures, but I can speak as a black man. You know, I understand the challenges that black men face. And I see that, you know, the only time we are celebrated is in death. You know, if we're killed, you know, by, you know, immoral acts, police brutality, then it's like, oh, black man, black man. But other than that, we're bashed. We're constantly bashed. And I just don't want to be a part of those conversations. I don't mind being a part of a conversation that speak about the behavior of some men and why they may act that way. And what can we do as a whole to address it, to change it, to make it better? Can we shed some light on what made that person go to that point? Even as far as women, like what are some things that made women act a certain way or do a certain thing to where men feel like, wow, this woman doesn't know how to treat men, or this woman is very aggressive towards men. So understanding the nature and background of why things happen, I'm all willing to be a part of those conversations as long as they are solution based. I don't want to be a part of conversations that's just bashing, because those conversations to me are absolutely pointless. They serve no purpose. They are basically vent sessions of hate, and I don't want to be a part of it. You know, I just don't. And oftentimes when those conversations are taking place, you know, you have one party that just don't want to hear anything. You know, I was a part of, there's this app called Stereo, and these two ladies were talking, and they were talking about men and women. And, you know, they was talking about women are the only ones that are only single parents, and men don't understand single parenting. There are plenty of men who do single parenting. And they was talking about, you know, well, when a man go out to the park with his baby, like, ooh, look at the man, he has a baby. That's because it's not promoted as well. But oftentimes, a lot of times when men go out and they have their child with them, most people don't even pay attention. It's, you know, it's just like, maybe as a female, you pay more attention to that as a woman. But, you know, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand why it is so right that some people feel like to empower one group, you have to destroy, degrade, and berate another. And I just don't believe in that. And if people want to have those types of conversations, I don't want to be a part of it. If you want to have a conversation to where you're speaking about helping somebody, uplifting a gender, a race, or whatever, I'm all for it. As long as it's a solution-based conversation. I don't like being a part of, demonizing and attacking people. I just don't want to be a part of that. I understand you want to call out inappropriate behavior. I get that. I'm totally for that. But if you're going to call it out, come with some recommendations for improvement, for self-care. Do stuff like that. You don't just shoot a person and leave them laying on the ground. And that's what's happening with a lot of men. A lot of men are being shot, and innocent men are being shot with harsh words and being left to die. And nobody comes to their aid. Nobody comes to mend them. They're just left there. And even as men, we're not even coming together for each other. So those are some of the reasons why I feel like, men and women having this battle of the sexes right now doesn't benefit anybody. It may seem like the women are winning, but ultimately you're losing. If it's not your husband, it's your boyfriend. If it's not your boyfriend, it's your son, your uncle, your father. You're gonna lose. And it's the same for men. Some men may feel like they're winning the battle of the sexes, but it could be your mother, your daughter, your sister, your aunt. You're gonna lose in the end if this doesn't come to an end to where there are solution-based conversations. Like everybody, when they talk about sexual misconduct, my whole thing is stop making it a female thing. If you want men, I've said this before, if you want men to feel the way you feel about it, then you gotta have a zero tolerance across the board. Because a lot of people act like women don't actually commit any type of sexual misconduct, which is highly inaccurate and wrong. And it is a lie. There are numerous cases of women behaving inappropriately sexually on the job, but it's overlooked. Perfect example. On Shark Tank, a guy was pitching this glove. Okay, he was pitching this glove. Now he got a deal with one of the female people on the show. But here's the thing. When they made the deal and he walked up, normally what they do is they kind of shake hands and give a hug. He walked up there, she started patting him on the butt. And I thought to myself, what if a man did that? After he made a deal with a woman and he patted her on the butt, they would be talking about get him off the show. They would label him everything in the book. You cannot have double standards and expect men to feel that it is equal in how you treat all of this stuff. I'm not saying it's right in any way. I'm saying in any sense of the matter, sexual misconduct is inappropriate and is wrong and should not be tolerated. It should be zero tolerance on both sides and not just one side and the other side not penalized. And that's why we're faced. That's why I say you got to have a balance to where both sides have been held accountable equally. Because if you don't, you're going to have situations to where men feel one way, women feel another. And they both may disapprove, but they both may agree that something, is wrong. But because of the unbalance of scales in the way it's handled, one is going to be hands off. So that's why I say, for those of you out there with podcasts, those of you out there with shows, if you're going to point out flaws in a gender, in a group, a culture, or whatever, make sure you offer solutions. Make sure you try to understand the background and the history of an individual or a culture before you go out there just slamming it because you're trying to get more people, you're trying to get more likes, you're trying to appeal to a certain audience. One thing I don't do, I don't care if I stay at 100 something subscribers on any of my social medias. I don't care because I'm not out here resulting to degrading or sexual content just to get my numbers up. And that's what a lot of people do. And I just don't want to do that. I just don't feel that's me. But to each its own. But no, that's not me. It's not what I talk about. It's not what I represent. So that's why I say, be mindful of what you put out. and think about what you put out and try to be solution based in your content. Hey, thank you for checking out my channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Y'all have a good day. Peace.
It's time to tune in. This here's so fire. Empower your voice to inspire. Yeah, RMBI Gym.